Imagine for a moment that the familiar flow of time isn't a river, flowing from past to future, but a vast, unfathomable ocean where every era exists simultaneously, here and now. What if all of known history is merely a gentle ripple on its surface, transient waves that ebb and flow? And what if, down in those dark, silent depths, lie hidden technologies, knowledge, and powers capable of utterly transforming our perception of reality? Today, we will plunge together into that abyss, a plunge so profound that our ordinary world, with all its commotion and conventions, may fade away, becoming nothing more than a ghostly dream from which you are about to awaken. What I'm about to share with you is not merely information, nor is it just another theory. It is a key capable of unlocking the very doors of your perception, forever changing how you see everything you once held to be absolute. But before we touch upon this sacred, blood-chilling secret, I must ask you to do one thing. Take a deep, slow breath. Trust me, your presence here is no accident. If these words stir something within you, if they resonate in the deepest corners of your soul, know that you are already standing on a threshold. And now, let us speak of the Maya. For centuries, we have been told the same story, that they were a civilization of brilliant astronomers, yet at the same time, primitive savages. We were given an image of a people whose eyes were fixed upon the stars, but whose hands were supposedly stained with the blood of brutal rituals. Remember how their calendar was presented to the world as an inescapable prophecy of the end of days in 2012. The world held its breath in anticipation, and when nothing came to pass, it erupted in laughter, conveniently forgetting the whole affair as a regrettable misunderstanding. But what if we understood it all wrong? What if, beneath this wave of collective ridicule, we missed the most important message they left for us? What if it wasn't a grim prediction of the end, but rather a kind of instruction manual? What if the famous, chillingly terrifying Mayan calendar was merely a cover, a dusty preface to the most profound and secret document in all of human history? We are speaking of an artifact, virtually unknown to the public, which the world's elites have zealously hidden for decades. It is called the map of the solar system, created by the Mayan civilization. But do not think this is a simple depiction of planets routinely orbiting our sun. No. Before us lies an incredibly complex, multi-dimensional schematic, a flawlessly rendered blueprint. It is a true user's guide to the very fabric of the universe. The ancient priests, whom we are accustomed to thinking of as primitive savages in feathers, were in reality brilliant cosmic engineers. They didn't simply gaze passively at the distant stars. They knew how to conduct them, like notes in the grand symphony of creation. And this map, carved with unthinkable precision onto a jet-black obsidian disc, a disc that, according to hushed whispers, is secured away in one of the Vatican's deepest private vaults. It doesn't describe the physical location of planets in space. It speaks of their finest energetic resonances, of the vibrational frequencies that permeate all that exists. It reveals that at specific, predestined moments, when the celestial bodies align into sacred geometric figures, corridors open within the very fabric of space-time. Untrodden paths, woven not from matter, but from pure light, from streams of solar wind and the faintest gravitational waves. You must understand, the Maya did not create crude ships of cold metal. Their ship, incredible and unimaginable, was the solar system itself, with all its perfect, precise mechanics. The everlasting fuel for this magnificent journey was the primordial energy of distant stars. Does this sound like mere beautiful fiction? An empty fantasy? Then how can we explain the echoes of this ancient knowledge found in wildly different, unconnected cultures, separated by thousands of years and vast oceans? Consider the great prophet, Michel Nostradamus. In one of his most obscure and cryptic quatrains, he wrote, "When the fiery serpent embraces the earth, and the twins gain a third eye, the sons of the ancients will open the paths of light." And what is this fiery serpent he spoke of? Could it not be a precise description of a colossal coronal mass ejection, a gigantic solar flare, capable of embracing our entire planet? You must understand, the twins with a third eye are not human at all. It is a magnificent celestial phenomenon, a perfect alignment of two planets that generates a colossal gravitational lens. This is the very eye capable of warping space and time, making it possible not merely to see distant worlds, but to journey to them. As for the so-called sons of the ancients, that is who we are. It is every one of us, in whose very blood, in the structure of our DNA, slumbers the great legacy of long-vanished civilizations. The Maya, the Atlanteans, the Lemurians. Recall the words of the great seer, Vanga. In one of her final, misty, almost incoherent visions, she whispered of a time to come when people will fly on the threads of the sun, and the earth will finally open its veins. To fly on the threads of the sun. Consider the meaning of those words. It is an astonishingly precise and direct description of harnessing the fiery prominences and magnetic fields of our star as interplanetary arteries for travel. She saw all of this long before we ever could. She knew the truth, but humanity, mired in its petty concerns, was not ready to listen. The world remained blind and deaf to the greatest of revelations. Yet this knowledge was guarded by more than just the celebrated prophets, whose names are etched forever in history. Consider the nameless medieval scribe, known to us only as the monk of Cluny. In the silence of his cell, he created the treatise De Vis Stellarum on the star paths, in which he described a knowledge bestowed upon him in a vision of invisible rivers that flow between worlds, whose banks, he wrote, were composed of the music of the planets. Then, on the other side of the world in 17th century Japan, the ascetic master Kobo Daishi instructed his followers. He taught them to meditate on the vibrations of the great spheres, allowing their spirits to gain freedom and travel without a body along roads paved by the moon and consecrated by the sun. Or recall the Indian astrologer, whose astounding works were discovered by chance in an abandoned temple early in the 20th century. With incredible precision, he had calculated the dates for the opening of the gates, and these calculations matched Mayan prophecies to within a few hours. Separated by centuries and oceans, they all spoke of the very same thing. It was as if they were reading from the same unseen instruction manual, simply in the different languages of the world. And what do the modern-day keepers of secrets tell us? Insiders from classified aerospace programs, communicating anonymously on encrypted internet forums, all say the same thing. The strange anomalies we have witnessed in recent years are not malfunctions at all. They are symptoms of a coming activation. GPS satellites do not lose their signal because they are failing. No, they lose it because the Earth's very gravitational field has begun to fluctuate. It is as if the field itself is breathing, pulsating in unison with some unknown rhythm of the sun. Listen closely to the unexplained atmospheric phenomena. Listen to the strange, low hum that creeps across the entire planet, a sound heard by thousands. Look to the mysterious lights that blossom silently in the night sky. All of this is not what it seems. These are not alien ships, not in the conventional sense. They are merely the first timid sparks of an ancient, colossal mechanism igniting. A mechanism whose gears are entire planets, its boundaries vanishing far beyond the orbit of Pluto. A mechanism the size of our whole solar system. What the greatest minds of humanity only whisper about in secret laboratories has long been obvious. Dark matter and dark energy are not just a passive nothingness filling the void. They behave as the living, thinking fabric of the universe, a cosmic neural network of sorts. And now, this network is awakening. Just look back at the events of the past few years. Connect the dots. Can you not see the terrifying connection for yourself? Solar flares of a power never before seen lash our planet, making its magnetic field groan under the strain. Ghostly auroras dance in skies where they have never been seen, painting the horizons of southern cities in emerald and crimson. And that strange, deep tremor, mysterious seismic shocks that have nothing to do with the familiar shifting of tectonic plates. It is as if the very heart of the planet responds to an external impulse, vibrating from within in unison with something unimaginably vast. Look around you. The economic systems that seemed unshakable only yesterday are now cracking at the seams, crumbling away. Political alliances forged over decades are crumbling before our very eyes. Ancient ideologies, once worshipped by generations, are turning to dust, gone forever. And the question arises, why is all of this happening? It is because the old world, built upon a fragile foundation of deceit and soulless materialism, has proven utterly incompatible with the new, higher frequency to which the very fabric of our reality is slowly but surely attuning itself. It is like trying to run a complex program from the distant future on an ancient, barely functioning computer. The system wouldn't just freeze, it would burn out completely, unable to handle the strain. This chaos raging all around us is not some accident, nor is it a sign of the end. It is the painful, yet necessary process of a global reset. This is the great shift, the one the ancient Mayans whispered of in their prophecies. Now, for a moment, look deep within yourself and ask one honest question. You have felt this too, haven't you? It's that strange, almost imperceptible feeling, as if time itself has slipped its chains, as if days and weeks are flying past, blurring into a single, swift, and dizzying instant. Have you noticed how your dreams have recently become astonishingly vivid? How they've grown almost indistinguishable from reality, filled with mysterious symbols and quiet, insistent warnings? And your intuition, your sixth sense, has it not been sharpened to a razor's edge? Have you found yourself literally sensing people and future events with your very skin, long before they actually unfold? Believe me, this is not merely a game of your imagination. It is something far more profound. It is your own inner energetic system, your most sacred code, beginning to vibrate in unison, resonating with the awakening fabric of the universe. Each one of you is a sensitive receiver, tuning into the very first, barely discernible signals of a dawning new era. Let us calibrate our inner compasses, compare our observations, and prove, both to ourselves and to the world, that we are not alone in what we feel. This is our shared investigation, and every story you share, every comment you leave, is a priceless fragment, another piece in a vast and fascinating mosaic. And now, with this understanding, we approach the heart of the matter, the knowledge that has the power to change absolutely everything. For far too long, our thinking has been imprisoned by three-dimensional material concepts. We have dreamed of immense starships piercing the blackness of space, of long voyages to distant cold planets. But the ancient Maya, in their unfathomable wisdom, saw things differently. The map they left behind is not merely a set of instructions for physical travel through space. It is, above all, a guide to the limitless landscapes of consciousness itself. The true journey they speak of is not the roar of engines carrying you to Mars. It is a quiet, internal shift, a profound transition into an entirely different dimension of perception that can be made without moving so much as a millimeter. And this energy of the stars is not fuel for reactors. It is the purest information, a light of the highest frequencies which, like an invisible key, is capable of reprogramming our very DNA and awakening long-dormant, incredible abilities. The collapse unfolding before our eyes, all this visible chaos. This is not the end of the world. We are witnessing the collapse of an old, confined consciousness. Before our very eyes, the walls of the prison we so long and stubbornly considered our only home are crumbling. Just imagine. For centuries, generation after generation, humanity has viewed the world through a tiny, cold keyhole. We could perceive only a minuscule fragment of an immeasurable reality. And yet upon this fragile, distorted vision, we erected the grand edifices of our science, our religion, and our entire culture. But now, at this very moment, an unseen hand inserts a mysterious Mayan key into the ancient lock and slowly, with mounting tension, begins to turn it. With a long, plaintive creak, the age-old door of our perception begins to yield, opening for the first time in thousands of years. And what is revealed to our sight within this slowly expanding sliver of light is at once dazzlingly beautiful and terrifying to the core. This is the collapse itself. Yet it is not the world that falls, but the illusion of it. And the powers that be, those who ruled this world of shadows for centuries, have all this time worn only a fragile crown of the thinnest glass. In its cold, artificial gleam, it appeared unbreakable. Yet beneath that brilliant surface, fragility was always concealed. And now, under the onslaught of new, all-pervasive cosmic vibrations, that crown of the old world is cracking deeply, crumbling into dust. The economy itself, built upon a foundation of debt and insatiable consumption, was like dead metallic veins. Through them flowed not life-giving blood, but icy currents of fear and ravenous greed. Now these arteries, corroded by rust, are turning to dust, as the pure energy of a new era simply cannot flow through such poisoned channels. Our profound dependence on technology, on the cold light of screens that have replaced our true windows to the world, has become a voluntary imprisonment in a narrow digital chamber. And now, the walls of this illusory prison begin to flicker and dissolve, suddenly revealing a boundless universe, teeming with life, that stretches out beyond them. What many, in their confusion, call a catastrophe or the end of times is, in truth, a sacred dissolution. It is nothing less than a great cleansing, a painful yet utterly necessary process, much like a living creature shedding its old, dead skin to be renewed. The universe is presenting us all with a test. It is testing each of us, peering deep into our souls to see who will find the courage to release the old, who will dare to step across the threshold into an entirely new reality, and who will desperately cling until their final breath to the familiar but lifeless wreckage of a crumbling world. And understand this: it is not a punishment. It is a precious opportunity, an opportunity to be reborn, to shed this worn-out skin, and to finally remember who we truly are. Not faceless slaves to a system, not blind consumers in a perpetual chase for possessions, not tiny cogs in a vast, soulless machine. No, we are stellar wanderers, our paths inscribed upon eternity. We are the true children of the cosmos, carrying within us a boundless and inconceivable potential. This great global shift is not merely another event to be passively observed on a television screen. It is a profoundly personal, an intimate inner process, one that unfolds in the quiet of your heart. And it is here, in that quiet, where each of us must make a choice that will, in the end, define everything. You can choose the familiar path, to remain asleep. You can continue to blindly trust what the official sources proclaim, accepting their imposed worldview as the only truth. You can continue to ignore the subtle signs, dismissing the deep inner restlessness as mere stress, and that strange sensation of time compressing, flying faster and faster as simple fatigue. You can continue to live in the old, obsolete paradigm, in a world built on fear, steeped in division, and a perpetual struggle for resources. And rest assured, the system itself will do everything in its power to keep you in this state of slumber. It will bombard you with a dazzling kaleidoscope of new distractions, feeding you skillfully crafted fears and finding endless reasons for mutual hatred. Anything to keep your eyes fixed on the ground, to stop you from looking up at the silent glow of the stars, or from gazing inward into the quiet depths of your own heart. This is a path that leads to a slow dissolution into the growing chaos of an old, crumbling world. But there is another path. You can become one of the awakened. You can dare to accept that our world is immeasurably more complex, profound, and miraculous than we have ever been told. You can finally begin to trust your intuition, to listen to your dreams, and to notice the very signs the universe so generously scatters all around you. Those so-called random coincidences that are, in fact, not random at all. The time has come to understand that your most private thoughts, your deepest emotions, and your very state of being are far more than just a personal affair. They are a genuine force that lives within you, the very vibration that you broadcast out into the world. Every time your heart chooses love over fear, when you seek unity instead of division, when you embrace profound awareness over a hurried and mindless existence, you palpably raise the collective vibrational frequency of the entire planet. In those moments, you become a living beacon, your light piercing through the darkness to guide others on their way. You awaken your own inner star map, your soul's unique guide, and in doing so, you help to set in motion the great planetary mechanism of transformation. This is precisely why your consciousness is of truly vital importance. Remember, you are not a passive observer watching these changes from the sidelines. You are a creator, an active and empowered participant in this magnificent cosmic event. For each soul that awakens to the light is another precious golden thread being woven into the luminous tapestry of a new dawning reality. The ancient Mayan civilization did not leave us their map for it to gather dust under glass in a quiet museum hall. This message was meant for us, for the generation destined to live in the age of the Great Transformation. They foresaw our coming. They believed that when the time came, we would be ready. So, what is it that is asked of us? The answer does not lie in erecting new stone pyramids, nor in repeating the complex rituals of old. The truth, as it so often is at once simpler and immeasurably more profound. The journey begins from within, with the self. To start, you must tune out the deafening informational noise that floods in from every direction and listen to the silence. Spend more time in nature. Retreat into the cool green of the forests or to the calm water's edge. Feel the warm earth beneath your bare feet and sense the true, living pulse of the planet. Immerse yourself in stillness, in deep meditation, to finally hear the faint yet true voice of your soul. Lift your gaze to the boundless night sky and peer into the shimmer of distant stars, for it is there that the answers lie hidden. Seek out the wisdom of the ages as it returns to us, and search for the forgotten knowledge deep within your own heart. Find those whose hearts beat in unison with your own, and unite with these kindred spirits. Together, create warm circles of light and mutual support, places where every soul can feel safe. Your greatest calling in these times is to hold your inner frequency unwavering at its highest note, refusing to let the noise and chaos of the outer world sway you. Be an island of unshakable calm amidst a raging ocean of profound change. Become a lighthouse for those who are searching for the path. For know this: the time has come. The delicate veil that once separated the worlds grows thinner with each passing day, becoming nearly transparent. Ancient wisdom is flowing back into our reality. And now, a great choice is laid before every soul, before each and every one of us. If these words resonate within the very depths of your soul, if a subtle tremor of recognition runs through your body, then know that you are one of us. And now, at this very moment, it is more important than ever before to take action. Your response is so much more than the mere press of a button. Each show of support is not a soulless digit in a set of statistics, but a powerful pulse of energy that we all send out into the universe together. It is another crack in the crumbling wall of the old, illusory world that is on the verge of collapse. Spread this message. Share it with those who, like you, are searching for the truth. Every single action is a torch lit in the darkness, a bold act of spiritual resistance against the total information blockade attempting to chain our minds. Join us. Become part of our growing tribe of free-spirited seekers. Understand that this is no mere formality. It is your conscious choice, your firm declaration to the universe, showing which side you stand on in this great game. For those of you prepared to take the next decisive step, for those who sense intuitively that everything revealed here is but a small fraction, the very tip of an iceberg concealed deep beneath the water, the path forward leads deeper still. Think of this as the next stage in your journey toward the innermost layers of truth. Our challenging explorations will continue, all to bring the truth to those who are truly ready to hear and